The essence of Buick's customer vision, our culture for the 90s and beyond, is customer care that says, your family. In order to convey a genuine sense of family to our customers, we must cultivate an atmosphere of welcome, trust, respect, and appreciation at all levels of our organization. Hi, I'm Chris Wolf. I know words like welcome and appreciation may not sound very businesslike at first. However, the principal goal of the customer vision is to build relationships that last for the entire customer life cycle. And when you consider that the life cycle value of a loyal customer has been estimated to be as much as $350,000,
beautiful, that's perfect.
I think you'll agree the Buick customer vision makes excellent business sense. As a number of our dealers have pointed out, to make the customer vision a reality, to really make it work, a culture change needs to take place within Buick. We need to stand the traditional organization chart on its head and put the customer,
look right here, smile,
at the very top of the chart. Right now, there's a perfect opportunity to demonstrate the spirit of the customer vision in the service department of virtually every Buick dealership. In 1992, 37% of Buick service customers, more than a third, had to visit their dealership more than once to correct the same problem. By comparison, studies show that world-class service providers typically maintain a 15 to 17% comeback rate. Now clearly, Buick is a larger, more complex organization than, say, a Saturn or Lexus, but just think of the positive impact we will make on customer satisfaction when we perform as effectively as these automakers, while selling and servicing 4 times as many car lines. At the 1993 NADA convention in New Orleans, I challenged every Buick dealer to take the action necessary to reduce service comebacks to 20%. Now I realize this is an enormous job, but there are many Buick tools that can help you meet the challenge. Tools like the comeback prevention and recovery strategy that is the subject of this special edition know-how. In this program, which is a considerable departure from the normal know-how style, you will meet dealership people from across the country. These people have experienced success in reducing comebacks and recovering customer satisfaction as a direct result of implementing this program. Changing our culture to achieve the customer vision will require training and support. To provide you with additional training resources, Buick Know-How is broadening its scope. In addition to the normal length program, future know-how releases will include a segment like this called Service Bay Chat, produced in a less formal television news style. This format allows us to bring you information on a more timely basis. It also provides the flexibility to present short subjects, which by themselves would not contain sufficient material for a full-length program. However, one thing will not change, and that is Know-How's primary mission, to provide the people in Buick dealerships with the best possible service-related information. 1, 2, 3, say Buick. Buick.
I think that the more comebacks we have, the less repeat customer service we have.
They will stop what they're doing out back on another car and actually come up and talk to the customer.
Bad news seems to travel more on our customers' new automobiles than the good news.
Of course, every time they're irritated with their car, they're irritated with us as the dealer.
The more people you have in the communication chain, the more opportunities you have of it breaking down.
For some time now, Buick service personnel have been presenting a comeback prevention and recovery program at dealerships across the country. Now, the purpose of this know-how is to provide you with an overview of the main points covered in this program. But more importantly, instead of just describing the program, I want to introduce you to some dealerships who have successfully put the elements described in this manual into action, and with very positive results. If you've been working at a Buick dealership for any length of time, you've almost certainly seen or heard something about CSI. CSI stands for Customer Satisfaction Index. The letters C and S, they're capitalized to emphasize customer satisfaction, which is, of course, the single most important element of the automotive business. Every new model year brings improvements in automotive technology and manufacturing processes. The cars that result from these advances start and run more reliably, even under extreme conditions. Now, as the quality of Buick cars has risen to truly world-class levels, the expectations of today's better-informed customers has also increased. Nowadays, buying a car is a major financial investment for most people. In return for their money, well, people expect to be suitably rewarded. They expect to be totally satisfied with their new vehicle and the dealership they buy it from.
I think customers expect more today because they pay more. The cars are better, and the service just has to be better. We've got to do everything we possibly can to make a customer feel like he's wanted when he comes in here.
Doing it right the first time is the customer's minimum expectation when they bring the car into our service department. And then from there it will develop. And we are trying to get customers for life. And doing that is a whole dealership team effort.
6 months after the purchase of a new Buick, buyers receive a questionnaire that's mailed to them by an independent market research company. Customers are asked to rate their level of satisfaction with the product, the dealership sales staff, and, when appropriate, the service department. Customers' responses are tabulated by the research company, and the results are summarized in the monthly Dealer Report of Customer Satisfaction that Buick provides to all dealerships. As you might imagine, there is a very strong cause and effect relationship between service comebacks and lower CSI figures.
Well, of course, comebacks always have a negative impact on the business overall. The customer is inconvenienced, irritated initially by whatever brought them into our dealership, whatever the problem was. And then when they have to come back a second time, whether it be because we didn't diagnose the problem correctly, we didn't fix it correctly, we didn't have the parts, whatever the reason might be, that compounds the irritation. And of course, every time they're irritated with their car, they're irritated with us as the dealer.
Now let's look at some numbers. Of all surveyed Buick customers, 43% have never returned to the dealership for warranty service during the first 6 months. Now these customers rated CSI at 94. Now that's not perfect, but a pretty respectable figure. Now among the remaining group, customers who have returned to the dealership for warranty service, the overall CSI drops from an average of 94 to 91. However, the most interesting figure comes from those customers who have returned to the dealership for warranty service and had their problem resolved in one visit. Satisfied service customers rate CSI as 95. In other words, customers who have a positive service experience rate their satisfaction with the dealership even higher than those who have never returned for service. However, among customers who have experienced service comebacks, CSI drops dramatically to a low of 84. And these figures do not include those customers who don't respond to the CSI survey. Clearly then, there is a very strong case for doing everything possible to correct problems the first time around. The value of a one-time successful warranty service experience is so great it should be a store policy.
It's not just a number that shows up in somebody's blue book in Detroit or in a dealer's office in the front end. We have a corroboration of people in this dealership who feel a part of it. And so the camaraderie is unique.
Comebacks are very bad for business, not just CSI scores. In reality, When customers give a dealership a satisfaction rating of 84 or less, it is very unlikely that they'll buy another car there. Comebacks hurt the service department too, because dissatisfied customers aren't likely to return for routine maintenance. And as for customer pay service, well, you can just about forget that. Unhappy customers usually spread their bad feelings to several family members and friends. So in the long run, the cost of just one comeback that leads to a dissatisfied customer can be very great.
I do feel that the comebacks is very important because if they're unhappy with their automobile, it's not just them unhappy, it's all the people that they are contacting. And I'm counting on those people that they're contacting being my future owners.
Here's how some of our dealerships define comebacks.
The classification of comeback is any time a car has to return to this dealership for any type of repair that the owner might interpret as related to his previous visit, whether it has anything to do with what was actually done or not.
At Plaza Buick, we define the term comeback not as a negative term as we had in the past. We as a group, as a service manager and the advisors and the shop foreman and all the technicians, decided to define the term comeback as any reason whatsoever that a customer has to return to this facility for the same complaint.
Now, these definitions may possibly be broader than what you would normally consider a service comeback. Now, for instance, you may not normally think of a situation where a part has to be ordered as a comeback, but as we just heard, to the customer, it's a comeback, no matter what the reason. At Buick, a comeback is any instance in which a customer must bring his or her vehicle back to the dealership to have work done that should have been done on the first visit. At this point, you may wish to stop the tape and discuss your dealership's CSI ratings. The service comebacks portion of the quarterly dealer report of customer satisfaction provides general information on the reasons for comebacks at the dealership, the zone, and division. However, in order to effectively prevent comebacks at your own dealership, you need to know more specifically what's causing them. This comeback comment sheet and a couple of other simple forms from the manual can be used as tools for tracking where problems are occurring.
We've formulated a plan of action to increase our CSI and to cut our comeback rate. First of all, we have the service advisor to question the customer and see if the car had been in before for the same repairs. If the customer says yes, whether it's at another dealership or whether it's at our dealership, he staples one of these fluorescent comeback sheets to the back of the hardboard where everybody will be tipped off that it is a comeback. The dispatcher, the technician, or anybody that sees it. Seems the fluorescent works better because you have so many white pieces of paper attached, nobody pays attention, but this, it gets everybody's attention.
We use a hot pink sheet, and some of the technicians took that as a personal affront, and so we had to sit down and talk with them and explain to them that this was to track a comeback on the car. It may have been to another dealer and had the problem, but at first they felt like these were red flags on their backs with targets on them.
Anytime a comeback comes into the dealership, it's noted on the repair order by the service advisor. We use dots on the repair order to note that this repair order needs to have special interest to it. It is given priority in the shop, and it's pushed into the shop as soon as possible, and it is given a little bit more priority as far as being checked and rechecked prior to it leaving here again.
At the end of the day, the warranty clerk photocopies those repair orders identified as comebacks and attaches comeback comment sheets and any other relevant paperwork describing the circumstances of the case. Now, the comeback comment sheet, with copies of all additional information attached, is then forwarded to the service manager or service director. Now, the next working day, the service manager or director distributes the comeback comment sheets among the appropriate service advisors. Now, at this time, the service manager and the advisors agree on a date by which the service advisors will have completed an investigation of the cause of each comeback. The promise date is entered on the daily routing card for future reference. When he's satisfied he has sufficient details on the case, the service advisor writes the reason for the comeback on the comeback comment sheet, including the parts manager's comments, if appropriate, and returns the finished report to the service manager. The Buick Comeback Prevention and Recovery Manual contains a sample of a monthly comeback analysis worksheet. When used properly, the worksheet will quickly identify where comebacks are occurring and why.
Is I'm given a sheet as to what the comeback was about, and I analyzed what caused the comeback. Was it a technical problem, misunderstanding of the service advisor, or just poor diagnostic? I'm given the copies then at this point, and each day I do a review. In the monthly comeback analysis sheet worksheet, I have listed all days, work days in the month of March. Right beside it is a mark for each indication of a comeback that we had that day. And the next repair category is broken down into what field was the comeback problem in, and how many problems did we have in that particular area. Next one is a list of the service technicians. Right beside it is when this technician had a problem that came back, was it a charge or not? The next one is the service advisor. Was there a charge or was there not a charge in that particular comeback? Last is a number of comebacks by the parts department. This might have been because we didn't have the part in stock. We had to special order the part, get it here, which the customer has a perception. That's a comeback.
The only way to effectively reduce comebacks is with real commitment to teamwork. Now, service management, service advisors, technicians, parts people, everyone involved in servicing cars must work together to identify and solve problems, whatever the cause.
We have meetings on comebacks, and we sit down, we analyze it with each technician, with each group leader, and everybody says, we could do this to improve that. And so the group itself moves the store forward. We know it's working. And when we got together as a group in our group management team, we started analyzing it, and we found out we're not communicating. And so we started communicating. We communicate on a daily basis. We communicate on a monthly basis with entire fixed operation meetings. And we are trying to exceed the customer's expectations, and that's do it right the first time.
We do it as a team. We try to share information with each other, and where everybody will have an opportunity to hear what the others have to say.
When we initiated the comeback tracking procedure, it started with the dealer. It was an idea that was brought to us by Buick Motor Division through my district service manager and through the field service engineer. We took their idea, we presented it to our dealer and our general manager, and the two of them agreed to be a part of this program and to back it. It's so important to have the dealer body behind the management team so that the management team can talk to his personnel with confidence that this is what this company is committed to.
At this point, you may wish to stop the tape and discuss measures for reducing service comebacks in your store. One of the most frequent reasons for service comebacks cited on individual customer CSI questionnaires is parts not in stock. Now, most parts are available within 24 hours, except in relatively rare cases when a part is on back order from Buick and is not available from any distributor or wholesaler. It's important that a solution is worked out between the dealer, the parts, and the service departments to minimize comebacks due to parts availability. Now let's hear what some of our stores are doing about parts.
The service manager and myself, we get together almost daily to talk about problems out here in the shop.
We've worked out a deal with our parts department where they will go to almost any length to get us a part overnight.
We rely on the mechanics to let me know or let the parts counter people know if they see a problem with a part. We take that in consideration as far as adding parts to the system, and like I say, I have no problems putting the part number in because it's better to have the part here than not to have the part
and take care of the customer. We'll go to all extents as far as to get the part. We'll go locally, the dealer next door, dealer downtown. We'll even have the part shipped in overnight from another dealer in the area. We also use GM parts as far as the warehousing. You've got VIP next day, VIP overnight, VIP regular CIO and SSO.
Another common cause of comebacks listed on the CSI report is repair did not correct problem. Now, this may of course be due to a mistake. Nobody's perfect, but it may also be due to the nature of the problem. Now, drivability or electrical complaints, for example, are very often of an intermittent nature.
I think whenever you have the squeaks and rattles are probably the worst for rechecks. The drivability complaints can be bad too, because a lot of times the car will come in running bad and you fix one thing and then it comes back and something else is causing a similar symptom, so that's something we always watch.
I do electrical work in my department, and it's just the problem of sometimes when the car is hot it will act up, sometimes when it's cold it will act up, and it may not be in that mode whenever we get the car.
The key to dealing successfully with this type of situation while retaining the customer's goodwill is for technicians and service advisors to stay alert for potential comeback situations and taking corrective action before a comeback occurs. Now, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but based on past experience, you probably have a pretty good idea of what type of complaints are likely to cause comebacks.
We've spent a lot of time with owners in cars that dies only on certain situations, makes a squeak or rattle, or has a characteristic only in a certain location or into a certain condition, like on a railroad tracks or bumpy roads, wet areas, dry areas. Anything out of the ordinary that they can't describe to us exactly when we can get it to do it.
Another potential comeback signal is when a customer mentions that he or she has already tried to have the problem fixed at the shop down the street. Now, when a technician comes across a potential comeback situation, it should immediately be brought to the attention of the service advisor or someone else who has contact with the customer. As soon as possible, this person should advise the customer of the potential difficulty involved in fixing problems of this type. The intent is to get the customer's expectations in line with the reality of the situation. And, of course, to apologize in advance for any inconvenience it may cause. Then, if a comeback occurs, at least customer satisfaction will be improved.
Well, for instance, today we have a car in here that we have a trial ECM going in the car. We're going to put the customer back out in the car. He's agreed to be our road tester, but willingly so, because he understands the frustration that we have sometimes with fixing his car, and of course his own frustration of it constantly breaking down or being at the dealership for an unlimited period of time.
Another potential comeback cause is product. Now, this covers situations where newly installed parts fail, and also those occasions when there is no known fix for the condition. Keeping up to date with the information in service bulletins can be a help to both technicians and service advisors.
We keep all the service bulletins on record and keep up with the problems that are occurring so that when a customer comes in with a potential problem, we can eliminate this problem while the vehicle is in the dealership and not have the customer caught out on the road.
Another major comeback cause likely to appear on the comeback comment sheet is communication. Now, this covers situations, for example, where the problem repaired was not the actual complaint. The best way to avoid communication errors is to diagnose complaints as much as possible while the customer is still in the store. Now, when there is any doubt about a problem, the technician or service advisor should contact the customer in person or by phone to clarify the complaint. You can't possibly fix a problem if you aren't sure what it is.
We had a situation where a customer came in with a popping noise in the front of the car as she applied the brake pedal. It was written up like that. The technician, front end technician, got the job in, finds a loose control arm and loose body mounts, tightens it up, gives the repair order back to the service advisor. Service advisor never checked the car. The customer came to get the car, pulled it around the front. The customer got in it, mashed the brake pedal, and she heard the popping in the brake pedal. She comes back in the building and says the car's still popping. We find that it's really nothing wrong with the car. It's normal. It's the part lockout, solenoid clicking.
One of the biggest problems with doing drivability right off the bat is the fact that you got to have a good explanation of what the problem is to begin with. If you have a problem where the car just says, hey, it's stalling, was it stalling cold, stalling hot, going down the road, coming to a stop sign, and if you don't have a good service writer to get these questions, sometimes it can be really difficult on my end of the job.
The final item on the comeback comment sheet is action taken to recover customer confidence. Now, sometimes comebacks just can't be avoided, but it's very important that they are never treated as business as usual.
We literally roll out the red carpet. If we have a customer who comes into our dealership and this customer has explained to an advisor that they're in for a repeat visit, those customers are literally catered to. We have a system designed in our service aisle where the service advisors can flip on a strobe light. It's a unit that's set up at the service aisle for their use. When that strobe light's initiated, it turns on 3 lights that flash throughout my shop. When the lights in the shop are flashing, 1 of 2 or possibly even 2 technicians will approach the service aisle. And during the time when they're cleaning their hands or being prepared for being presentable to that customer, the advisor will explain to them that what I've done is I've turned on a light that will tell one of our technicians that we need their help in trying to locate what your problem is. And I have taken 2 technicians out of my normal flat rate line. I've taken them off of commission and I've put them on straight salary. And the reason I put them on salary is I want those people to take as much time as they need without abusing the privilege to actually ride with the customer, talk to the customer, go to their home if they have to, if it's the bump that occurs on the 4th turn of the 11th Street down the road.
When we first started this project and we had our red light installed, the technicians got a big kick out of it. We all did. We kind of laughed at it at first, and once we found out the customers thought it was absolutely wonderful, things changed a little bit. And after they saw that they could really fix things for these customers, they were getting an actual story from the customer of exactly what they were supposed to be looking for. It made them easier for them to find something, and they were able to, I think, have a better success rate of fixing these things. They started to really like it. Now it's not funny anymore. Now they take it pretty serious. Customers absolutely love to talk to technicians. They would prefer to talk to a technician than us service advisors.
Okay, well, Cookie, we're going to go for a ride. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Okay.
You'll find many useful guidelines for implementing an effective comeback prevention and recovery program in the manual provided with this know-how. Don't hesitate to call your Buick representative if you need more information. The dealership people we interviewed for this program were not previously prepared or briefed in any way. They are truly committed to working together to satisfy their customers. Best of all, they are all seeing positive results, even those who have just recently implemented a comeback tracking procedure. We're hoping their success will be contagious. Now, we ask that you call your service and parts management teams together to review this tape. Organize group discussions and set goals for reducing comebacks and using the warranty service experience as a means of satisfying more customers.
If you just take the time, do the job right, use the book, torque things like they should be, don't shortcut, it's not going to come back and bite you. And when it comes back and bites you, then you're really going to lose big time. And don't worry about what it pays. You just do the job, do it right, and the pay is going to be there in the end. And that's something that it took me a while to understand and teach myself, but yeah, it really works. If you just do the job right, you got a happy customer. The customer's going to come back, ask for you personally. That's going to put more money in your pocket. He's going to tell another friend, and they're going to come back and say, hey, I want Mark to work on my car. And it makes me feel good, puts money in my pocket. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I've been around here for so long. It works.